Welcome to Daily Life Connection. Thanks for joining me again as we finish up exploring this wonderful story in Luke chapter 15. I want to back up a little bit today and pick up on the idea that grace is far more powerful than our worst choices or our worst sins. You know, when the son made some horrible choices, he treated his father disrespectfully. He was arrogant, he was insolent, he was self-indulgent. He went off to a foreign country. He left everything that had been part of his heritage and part of his relationship with God. He partied in wild living. He, ignored all of those things. He made some horrible choices and ended up destitute, starving, friendless. He ended up with nothing. And yet, when he returns to his father, the ring, the robe, and the sandals, and the celebration, the feast, remind us that the grace of the Father far exceeds any of the sins of the Son. That is such amazing good news for us. No matter what bad choices we make, no matter how far we go away from God, no matter how badly we've treated Him, no matter what conditions we end up in, His grace far exceeds. We read in Romans chapter 6, where sin abounded, grace abounded more. It goes far beyond. So that is such good news today. No matter what we have ever done, no matter what bad choices we've made, no matter how long we've made them, no matter how far away we've gotten from living in harmony with God's will for our lives, and according to His principles and values, His grace far exceeds any of those sins or choices that we have made. Interestingly, however, the older brother does not experience that. His sin was one of performance-based living. His sin was one of not relating to the Father, but depending on his own human efforts of service and obedience. And yet the grace, the Father comes out and pleads with him. The grace far exceeds the choices that this older brother has made, but he doesn't experience the joy of it. He doesn't experience the freedom of it or the reality of it, because he won't let the Father embrace him. He won't join the Father in this gracious celebration with his brother. You see, the younger brother, he let the Father hug him. He let grace hug him. And when he did, he began to experience life in all its fullness, and life in abundance, and joy, and all of the blessings that were always his, or that would have been his if he hadn't ever strayed from home. That's the good news for us today. The reality is, grace is far more powerful. It far exceeds anything our choices or sins have made that would take us away from all of the blessings in life to the full. Grace far exceeds. It's far more powerful than our worst choices. That's true. It is, but we only experience it if we let the Father embrace us. If we let grace embrace us, as long as, like the older brother, we hold on to, I need to earn this, I need to prove myself, I need to work hard, I need to serve, I need to obey, if we hold on to the idea that life to the full depends on how hard I work it and how much I live in conformity with God's will, then it all comes back to me, and we don't experience grace, because grace doesn't just come along and help us be more effective in our human efforts. Grace says, your human efforts will never be enough. Just let me embrace you and hug you and bless you. That's the great news of grace. Let me say it one more time, because I just think this is such a powerful truth. Grace is far more powerful than any of our worst choices or our worst sins. There is nothing that you can do, there are no choices we can make that will ever take us beyond the power of grace, not only to forgive us, but to return us to a life of abundance and joy and relationship with the Father that brings us life to the full, life abounding, life full of the joy of God and the blessings of God. That's good news for us today. Can I say it one more time? Grace is far more powerful than our worst choices or our worst sins, and it will restore us to life to the full if we let Him hug us and embrace us. Good news today. Let's think about it. We'll talk again tomorrow.